Hope you guys don't mind, but I got a little bit of extra sleep, but that is okay because we're going to do what we always do for a brand new TEPPEN expansion. We are opening packs to see what we can get, because how can I bring you guys new decks if I don't have any of the new cards? So straight away, we are going to be diving into at least the 10 new packs, maybe do a little bit more. I don't want this video to get too long form because there's so much to talk about, and I don't want to bog you guys down with just card openings. So let's get into it. Adventures of a Tiny Hero, the new hero Feline from Monster Hunter. That's what's come to TEPPEN overnight, and that's what we're getting into right now. All right, so here we go. First 10 free packs. We're going to take these one at a time. We've been getting previews, so I have a general idea of what some of these cards do, but not all of them. So we're just going to be kind of, taking it as we go. Some of these are recognized, but some of these are going to be brand new. Keep in mind, the big thing for this new expansion, that's a set of 3 BB Hood right away, and the new Chill Penguin, is tribal is a big thing. So each monster has tribes, some of them have 2, and they get synergy based off of decks that have cards of similar tribes. So that's going to have to be something that we keep in mind going forward. That is the new Nero, which we've actually known a little bit about. We got a mistranslation early on in terms of his abilities, but he gets more stats based on the number of different tribes that are present on the board when he drops, if I remember correctly. We will double check that, but a decent unit for green to get, and as we know, green needs a lot of love, despite the fact that Charge Shot X is still prevalent. So this is kind of an underwhelming 10. I almost said overwhelming. This is kind of an underwhelming 10 so far. All right, now we're getting some epics. Some of those I don't recognize. We'll have to take a look here after this. We may go 10 more deep because we're kind of blazing through this really, really fast. And I'm excited to take a closer look at some of the pieces of the artwork. Because in my mind, I think some of the artwork that's come from this expansion, specifically for TEPPEN, has been some of the best. I just love the art style and direction, and the theme for this expansion of Nero and Feline teaming up to go on adventures. I think it's super awesome. Okay, so we got tons and tons of the new BB Hood, but let's start from the beginning. Let's take a look at the epic. So there's a new QB. She's a 5-cost 3/2. Stat spread, not great. She is a demon, and you'll notice that now in the cards you can see their tribes closer to the top, and each tribe has its own little symbol. We'll talk about that a little bit deeper on as we go, but there are 6 tribes. Can't name them all off the top of my head, but we'll go and just keep tribes in mind when you're structuring your new decks, because tribal synergy is a new thing, and hopefully it will count for quite a bit, because I think it will relate to a lot of in-game creativity when people are making their decks. So QB, 5-cost 3/2 demon with flight. When played, she deals damage to a random enemy unit equal to the number of times actions have been used in this battle. So for a traditional Shinku Ryu, this is not that good, but for Denjin, this is actually pretty good, and in some other situations too, because we're coming from a very action-heavy meta. This is no surprise to you. I've talked about this countless times in my videos since March about how the action-heavy meta and memory and all that stuff. We're not going to get into it, but I think this card has some potential. The stats are not great, but the win plate effect is actually pretty good. Now, keep in mind, this is only going to 1 unit. It's not spread among enemy units like a lot of red cards tend to be, so keep that in mind. So Glare of Contempt. This is Karin. It's a 2-cost epic. It gives a friendly human unit +2 attack. If that unit has an MP cost of 5 or more, it gains heavy pierce. If you're running humans, this is actually not bad, because this is the equivalent of playing something like Beast Cannon, which gives +2 attack to anything. But the big benefit here is if you're running all humans and have that tribal synergy, you could potentially give units heavy pierce, which basically says you're going to be dealing your attack damage to the enemy hero even if you are striking a unit in a lane. It's a really good effect. It's not present on a ton of cards, but this can allow you to have a broader application of heavy pierce. So I think there's potential for this epic for sure. Now let's take a look at Sasquatch. He's a 4-cost 2/6. He is a beast, and he has growth 7. So that's a pretty steep growth price to pay. But at level 2, he gives all friendly units +1/+2. I mean, I feel like there's more efficient ways to get those stat bonuses. I don't know how I feel about the Squatch. Maybe I'll change my mind at some point. So this is the Nero. He's one of those units that is dual tribe. You'll notice he is human and he is demon. He's a 4-cost 0/4 with spillover, and when he's placed on the field, this unit gains +1/+1 for each different tribe among all friendly units. This is where dual tribes really, come into play, because if units have dual tribes, you can get tons and tons of stat bonuses for just a 4-cost, and this Nero can actually end up being pretty good in the right situation. It's very specific. So something to keep in mind, but I think this Nero card has a lot of potential, plus the artwork for this. I mean, look at this piece. It's just stellar. So this is one of my favorite cards art-wise. What else do we want to take a look at here? So this is actually, BB Hood is one that you can get a new secret art for, so that's something else to keep in mind. She's a 4-cost 1/8 human with agility, and when a friendly human unit is placed on the field, she gains +1 attack. It's not bad. I mean, the agility is nice, the stat spread, it's actually a little better than Blade if Blade is not ascended, because they are similar cost. So it's not bad. There's potential there. Wild Woman's Weapon. This is actually great artwork too. 3 costs to deal 6 damage to a random enemy unit. The fact that it's random, it's kind of a weaker rocket launch that you can draw into all the time. I don't know if that's going to see a whole lot of play. Speaking of Blade, this is a new Blade. 3 costs 2/3 demon with growth 3. He places another Blade onto the field. Okay, so this is I think this is the one. Let me double. Yeah. So this is one that has some potential. This is, how do you say that? Grimmelkind is what I'm going to say. Could be saying it wrong. If I am, just let me know in the comments. So this guy is a 4-cost 2/2. He's a dual tribe with beast and monster. Now, when he's played, he places a monster unit with an MP cost of 3 or less from your deck onto the field. This is actually not bad, and the specific instance that I can think of off the top of my head, which is one that's been discussed before, is for the green-black aggressive style deck. This can pull Astalos, which is the black unit that resonates to gain +1 attack. It's a 1/5 with flying. You sacrifice a little bit of life to play it. So there's potential here. You wouldn't run 3 of this guy, but this being a really easy way to scoop an Astalos is fantastic. It's actually really, really good. Depending on the right situation, it's something I really want to experiment with. We have to talk about Bombast, because I think this is a card that's going to see quite a bit of play. It's got a lot of potential. Plus it has this super stellar artwork with Rufus in it. So this is a 2 MP cost. It's a common card, so you're going to get these if you're opening packs. It adds a unit with an MP cost of 5 or less from your deck to your EX pocket. If that card is a human unit, it gets -2 MP. That's pretty good. Now that's going to have to take into consideration the human field of cards that can be played, specifically in the 5 and cost lower range. I guess this also applies to dual color, which humans red-green is something else I really want to experiment with. So I think this card fits right into it. So another card to watch, Bombast for sure. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about Melix, because I expect that we're going to talk about this whenever we do our Rate the Entire Set session, which is actually going to be coming up tonight. I'll have details for that at the end of this video. But this is a card that allows you to steal cards from your opponent's hand or EX pocket and put it in your EX pocket. Kind of the idea that's behind Feline, which if you'll remember, he's got a Hero Art Plunder Blade that allows you to steal cards from your opponent's decks. A lot of people are really skeptical of this idea of being able to yoink cards, because it's been somewhat detrimental to Legends of Runeterra, where it functions very similarly. Now, keep in mind, you're going to be yoinking cards that you may not even have the potential to play depending on your deck composition, but you are taking away what could be a key combo piece from your opponent, because it's not just you're copying it, you're stealing it. You are taking it. You're taking something away from your opponent's deck, and it is something to keep in mind. I think this is a card you're going to see a lot of. I don't necessarily know at this point in time if it's going to be overpowered. I think it's too soon to say, but I think a lot of people are going to be experimenting with this guy, so keep an eye on him. Since that didn't take very long at all, let's go 10 more. Okay, there's another epic. That one I'm not familiar with, but some of these cards I just don't remember. We'll become better acquainted with. There's our first legendary. So that's weird that we didn't get a legendary in our first 10, but you know what? That's okay. All right, getting some more epics, more juice in this 10-pack pull for sure than the last one. But well, from what I've seen, a lot of the commons and the uncommons and the rares are actually, it's a Nutrish, are very playable. And in some cases better than some of the legendaries and the epics, which, you know, that's not something that's uncommon. It's kind of been present in some previous expansions as well. But just something to keep in mind when you're structuring your decks. Double epics. Yo, we take those. Still no secrets. Normally I have really good luck on the secrets. There was the new Balrog, which is the card that I got to unveil, which was a lot of fun for me, getting to do it on stream. So shout outs to Gung Ho for actually letting me do that. That was a great time. I really enjoyed it. All right, so let's take a look here. Legendaries, Dread Queen Rathian. This is a card that we got a preview of. I don't remember specifically when, but this is a card we have seen before. So it's a 5-cost 2/7 monster with Rush, and when she attacks, all other units take 1 damage every 5 seconds. This is not just enemy units, this is all units, so all friendly units other than itself. I mean, it's kind of meh. It's kind of just, you know, for what you're paying for it and what you're getting out of it. I guess in the right situation, if you don't have other units to, you know, potentially get shredded, it's not so bad. But I'm not super impressed with this legendary. But it's cool to actually pull one. So this is another card that we got a preview of, which I do think has some potential. So it's a 4-cost 1/7. This is Flame Heinard. It is a machine with combo. And while he's on the field, all friendly machine units gain attacking, deal 1 damage to a random enemy unit. If you're running all machines, that's actually pretty good. And 4 for 1/7 is actually not bad in the grand scheme of things, especially if it's coming with combo at base. It's another card that I think has potential. It's hard to say how good it's going to be, but I think people are going to be experimenting, you know, with machines because there's so much love for the, you know, Mega Man X series. So this is Unexpected Assault, 4-cost. Give a unit in your deck with an MP cost of 3 or less rush and place it on the field. Memory 4 gives that unit an additional 1 attack and heavy pierce. It's, you know, it's okay. You know, getting to be able to yoink a card from your deck and put it on the board is not bad. It's the cost wise, I think it's a little expensive given some of the other options that we have. But, you know, I could be wrong. Nutrish, she's a 4-cost 4/3. Stat spread for that cost, not that great. She's a demon. When placed on the field, you gain 7 HP after 13 seconds. So this is not an insta gain 7 HP. This is a new effect that we're seeing here, which is a delayed effect coming out. It could be interesting. You know, purple doesn't have, you know, aside from the life stealing effects of, you know, like Shadow Blade, you know, Buffet, a Splendid Buffet that is, Soul Thirst, some other cards that allow you to do that. This is a bit of a different way to gain back life in the purple archetype, which is nice to see. So this is called the Taroth. This is a new card. It's an epic 5-cost 4/8 with Spillover. And when played, deal 1 damage to all other friendly units and lock your empty board slot units for 10 seconds. I don't think this is very good. I don't think this is very good at all. Just based on the I mean, the stat spread's okay, but I feel like the drawback that you get in a lot of situations won't end up being that good. Feel free to disagree with me, but just my initial impression of it is I just feel like there's better choices, especially in purple, which has a wealth of powerful cards. Why would you drop one of these other purple staples to, you know, put in work on this? It just doesn't make sense to me. So we go. This is Namil. This is a 5-cost 2/8 monster, and after taking damage and surviving, you return a random enemy unit with 3 HP or less to their deck. This is actually pretty good, especially if you can guarantee that it's going to be living. You know, after taking damage and surviving, that's going to be something that happens often with something that's got 8 HP, and being able to blast something back in the right situation back to their deck is very, very powerful. Bounces themselves are really good just because it's considered a big drawback for the person who's on the receiving end. But being able to blast it back to their deck, that's pretty solid. I think this is a card to watch. Two other cards I really want to take the time to talk about from this pull session. That's Fury. So Fury is a 4-cost 4/2 demon with Rush. And when it dies, it explores for agility, which is to give a unit +1/+1 and agility. The stat spread for 4-cost is not that great, but what you get for it from the Explore for Death is actually pretty good. I think there's some application for this card. It's not a one size fits all for every single deck that's got red, but I've said this a lot, but there's potential here. This is something you need to keep an eye on. We got to talk about Banana, Errant Banana. It is a 3-cost action that gives a friendly unit, after taking damage and surviving, gain +1 MP. A lot of people's initial impressions of this card were, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. This is going to be all sorts of busted. I don't think it's going to be busted, but I think there are instances where this card can really do some work. So the Banana, watch out for the Banana. So that's 20 packs. I don't want this video to get too long, so we're going to stop from there, but I've got plenty more packs to open, as do you, because of the year 1 anniversary stuff that started today and is going to be going on for quite some time. So make sure you are logging into the game if you want to get those rewards, and there's a lot of them. Tonight, this is on Wednesday, July the 1st, we are going to be reviewing the entire set on the website. When I say we, it's going to be my friends in Rado, and I am Spooticus, people who have been hanging out with me on Twitch and in some YouTube videos for quite some time. We're going to be reviewing the entire set, doing it live on Twitch. We're going to be doing that sometime tonight. So if you don't follow me on the Stout Helm Twitch channel, you need to make sure you do that, and follow me on Twitter. I will let you know a specific time closer to that time when we're going to go live. So I hope to see some of you guys there. Lots and lots of videos are going to be coming soon. I know you want decks. I know you want decks. That's the #1 thing you want, and I'm going to start working on that today. Love you guys. See you soon.